These are homemade tripods. I guess you could call them monopods. This is 1/2-inch electrical conduit, and this is just Portland cement. This is a fast setting cement, Cementol, and this is Portland cement. So this one was already pre-poured. It was left over from 3 or 4 years ago when I was doing a project with cement. So for this one, I drilled a hole in it, a 1/2-inch hole, with a hammer drill, and then I poured epoxy in it and epoxied it in place. So it's real solid. These two I just poured yesterday. This is the Cementol. This is very fast drying cement, and this was poured into a 5-gallon bucket. February 28th, this is my stand for a camera tripod. This one is nice and wide, a little thinner, and I worked on smoothing the top out a little bit. And this one is Portland. I thought this was Cementol. I got mixed up. I didn't label the bucket. So there's no sand mixed in it, no gravel, nothing, and I mixed in a little bit too much water too, but it came out fine. This was used in a car wash bucket, maybe a 2-gallon bucket. Unfortunately, I confused Portland with Quikrete, so there's no sand mixed with it, and I added too much water. This one, you could, for $3 on eBay, you could buy one of these ball type adjusters. I happen to have one, so that's what I threw on here. So in order to get that to work, you just tack on your screw right to the top of the electrical conduit. If you don't have one of these, and I only had one, then you could make yourself one of these. All this is the electrical conduit squished flat, the second piece of electrical conduit squished flat on opposite planes, horizontal, vertical, and then just bolted together. And the trickiest part is making this is a 90-degree tack weld of one screw and then a second screw. That has a wing nut on that side. I loosen them. So this weld, with this screw you get this movement, that one you get that movement, and of course tightening or loosening you get this movement. This is the third one. It's the same thing. This piece is flat. This piece is flat, a short piece, and then it's flattened on another plane here, and you get the same movement that way. Loosen it a little, and then that way, that way. You put it any direction. See if it. I've got to try to get this electrical conduit strip perpendicular, but if you don't, which no, I don't think any of these ended up perpendicular, you can adjust it with that swivel there. And just to show you, if you happen to have this outside and you're on a hill or there's something you can't get it base straight and that thing's crooked, you just shift it like that and then it's straight. In between each one of these, there's one steel washer. Steel washer there, 2 washers there. If you had rubber, if these were rubber or Teflon, then you'd have a smoother action. The downside to these is you have to twist the thing to get it off. And this is just from a plumbing washer for the faucet, and a nut a nut below the washer, so you could tighten that up against the thing, against whatever you put on there. So the downside is you have to screw the thing on. You don't have a knob here to screw it on from the bottom like a typical tripod has. And something like this, you actually have to take this off because you can't screw the binocular like that. If I made this longer, then you could just screw the binocular on. But as it is, the length, it hits. So you have to take this wing nut all the way off. And you have that, and then you just unscrew this part. There. So that's the weld on this one. It's strong. It doesn't look good, but it's strong. So there you have it, practically free tripod, monopod, or whatever it's called.